Hi, everyone. I'm Bria Jones. I'm with the Bulb Care team, and today's webinar is all about templates. So it's one of our most popular features in Bulb, and we're here to talk about what is a template, where to find the best templates. I'm going to have you take a look at some examples, and then we're going to look at how easy it is to assign a template, to even take a template and customize it, and then kind of end up with some best tips in terms of creating templates. So let's get started. Okay, a template in Bulb is really a Bulb page or a Bulb collection that serves as a starting point for a new document. It's pre-formatted in some way. It gives another user that pre-formatted guideposts in terms of what they're creating on their Bulb page. And we actually have a lot of great places to be able to find these templates. One is, I just popped over into my portfolio. So when you're signed into your Bulb portfolio, if you go up to your hamburger menu, which is the 3 lines in the upper right-hand corner, and then you go under More, you'll see Resource Center. And our Resource Center has hundreds upon hundreds of different templates that you can find among other resources. We have blogs and user stories and examples, but if you scroll down a little bit, you can search by a keyword, you can filter by an audience, you can filter by type. And so you can actually filter by templates and be able to see all the different types of templates that might be available that you might be interested in. So this is a great resource within our resource library. The other resource I wanted to share with you is a new resource that we have out. We have a new partnership with the CTE curriculum provider called ICV, and they're an incredible partner, and they actually created an entire portfolio of over 200 templates that relate to different CTE courses. And so you'll see here, there's templates for ag and architecture and career exploration and business and family consumer science, health science, and law. And so these are actually some really great examples of templates that you as educators could make for your students or even use for your own professional portfolios as well. So I want to kind of use these as a way to look at what templates look like in Bulb. So I opened up the career exploration within the ICV portfolio. And this first one here has 3 different project templates. So I'm going to open up the career plan one. And you'll notice that in the ICV templates, they kind of do the starting point of saying, hey, here's the assignment. You're going to use this template to create a career plan for the job of business management. And then they use our header fonts to kind of say, okay, here are the different topics or different areas within the assignment. And then they use that gray text here to really give the description to help the students know this is what you need to put in here. And most of the time, my suggestion is if you use gray text, that's a great way to give that helper text. And then that would be a good indicator for students. Once I add my own content in here, I can delete the gray text that helps me know what I'm going to put. So like you can do your job title here. This goals graphic right here, this was something that was created in Canva, which is like a design program. And it really is just an image that, that was created to create just some different blocks of content on the page. So that's another great tip in terms of creating a template. It's really, really easy to be able to do to create these kind of little headers that are a little bit more graphic and interesting. Then you have your short-term goals and long-term goals, and then they're going to fill in some information about their education and their experience, you know, provide 2 or 3 examples of how it can help prepare you for that career. And then always encourage you to include some kind of reflective prompt into your assignments. And so what's one question do you still have about this job? What do you think your strengths and passions match with these job requirements? And then you can also encourage students and give them some guides on maybe they could use the audio record feature to be able to answer the reflection questions instead of typing out the answers. And so helping them say, maybe use your image carousel or put a video here and help them branch out in different ways that they can express their ideas. I'm going to click back here. And here's a great example of a template collection. So this is called Formulas for Career Success for Portfolio Development. And I love this one because I think this has a lot of great pages that most of our high schoolers need in their portfolios. And so it kind of gives that guidepost of these are the things that I should be doing. So I can have my philosophy, a resume, my transcripts, a page about my professional organizations and hobbies, awards and honors, community service, and then be able to add some different work samples in there, maybe testimonials and letters of rec, and then a mission statement here as well. And so you might say, oh yeah, I want my students to be able to copy all these pages. And so instead of being able to do this one by one by one, you can actually copy in an entire collection. And so you'll notice here at the collection level, so Formulas of Career Success is an entire collection, and there's a use template right here. So when I click on the use template at a collection level, it will then copy in all the pages inside that collection that are also templates as well. So I can copy them all in at once just using one URL and one button. If I just want a single page out of this collection template. So say I just want the professional philosophy, I notice that it has that little template icon right here. This indicates that this page is a template. I open that up. And for any page that's a template, you'll see this use template up here in the upper right-hand corner. And so now I can click on use template there, and that will copy into my portfolio. Let's take a look at a couple different examples. So these are some of my favorites. These were designed by a math director out in Coppell ISD in Coppell, Texas. And she created these 10 reflective templates. These can be found in our resource library as well. And each template has an example that goes with it. So that's kind of great to kind of figure out and help students kind of visualize what this might look like. But I love the different types of reflection questions that can go along that she put together for these. So this is called Reflection 4 Parts. So it's getting ready. 3 things I remember from the last topic are 1, 2, 3. Along the way, I press pause on my learning, do a brain dump. This is everything I know so far about the topic. Then looking back, if I were to do this all over again, next time I would. And then looking ahead, now that I understand this, I can, and then describe what I could not do and I'm now able to do. And then I love this, notice the connection between this new understanding and something I learned a long time ago, the connection I see is. And so these are just really deep, reflective type questions. And so this is something too that you might go, oh, I really love this, but I actually want to tweak this a little bit and make a few changes to this. How do I do that? And I will show you that in just a little bit of how you could take a template that was already created by somebody else and then customize it for yourself and for your students. The last template I wanted to show is this Student About Me template. And one thing I really like about this template is that it's very fun and engaging. And so this is something to consider when you're creating templates as well, is sometimes we need some visual prompts and indicators of the kinds of things that would be great to be able to see as evidence or to be able to, tell your ideas in a very visual and interesting way. And so this just is using some GIFs. It's just an embedded Giphy here, right? And saying, insert an interesting picture of you, try wrapping your text around your photo. So it's very instructional in terms of the kinds of things that you can add into this template. Encouraging them to just delete this video and upload a video or a picture about something about your favorite things. Anything bugs me and I'm feeling unhappy. So it's kind of fun. We, use the My Favorite Things from The Sound of Music just to bring interest to this assignment and to this template. Talking about family and successes and being like, hey, insert your own picture of your own awards that you have here. And maybe use an image carousel talking about pictures of your future. And so it's really utilizing the different tools that we want the user to be able to do and the students to be able to add all this content to their pages and kind of helping them do that, as well as just making that template interesting and engaging as well. So let's talk a little bit about how you can assign these templates really easily to students. So I'm going to actually pop back over here to that professional philosophy template here. And if you find a template in the resource library or from ICV or any template within Bulb, you use our Bulb search and find a template. What you really need to do is just get the URL for that page, whether that's the private share link URL or if this is a public page like these templates are that I'm showing you today are all public. I can copy the URL at the top of the page. And this is the most important because really I just need to make sure that my students can get access to this page when I assign this. And so I'm going to show you how to assign it within a learning management system. I am showing Google Classroom right now, but this is true for any learning management system. It could be Canvas or Schoology or Microsoft Teams, It's Learning, Moodle, any of those. When you create your assignment, so this was the philosophy, use this Bulb template, right? And then all the different platforms typically have a place where you can put a URL. So you're just going to add your URL link here. And now that is posted within Google Classroom, and I'm able to assign this particular page to my students right in my learning management system. And now I am signed in as a student. And that student's going to go to that new assignment, just like they do for any other assignment within your learning management system. And it's going to say, okay, I'm going to use this Bulb template, and I'm going to simply click on that template right there. And all I need to do is click on the use template. So if it's a page, the use template is in this upper right-hand corner. And remember, if it's a collection, it's that use template that's just in that banner photo. And so it's going to make a copy into my own portfolio. I was already signed in as Scarlett. If I clicked that use template and I hadn't logged into my Bulb yet, it would simply just give me a login page. I'd be able to log in and then be able to copy that template. So it makes that really, really easy. And now I have my own version of that page template living in my portfolio. And I can come in here and I can delete any of the text that I need, and I can add images and files, audio, and be able to complete the template as it was intended. Another little tip too for students is if you want to encourage them to personalize their pages, they can even come in here and delete that banner photo that's on the top of your page and be able to add a new one as well. So they could select something and create a new image that may relate to the content that they're creating. So they can really personalize the page in every way because this is their copy living in their portfolio. And then once they're done with their page, they're just going to simply publish. I always encourage students when they're turning stuff into a learning management system just to create that private share link. Make sure they copy this private share link, just clicking on that clipboard, click publish, and now they can go in, add their work with a link. And now that page has been turned in. So that's how easy it is to be able to take a template that's been pre-created already. Either you find it from our resource library, you search one of the 200 CTE templates produced by ICEV, and or you search within Bulb and find a template that you want to use. So as you can tell here, I am signed into my portfolio. And say I'm on one of these templates here. Maybe this is one that that I want to use, but I want to tweak it a little bit and change it. How do I do that and then assign that to my students? Well, it's very simple. All I need to do is click on Use Template so I can copy this version into my own portfolio. And now you'll see I have this reflection for parts as a draft page. And I can come in here and change anything that I want. Maybe I don't want this first component here, and I could delete this out. You know, I can give any new instructions. I can maybe do a due date here. However you want to customize that template. And then all you simply need to do is now this page lives in your own portfolio and you need to publish it as a template so that your students can be able to copy it into their portfolios. So you're just going to click on publish here. And I always recommend for teachers, you either publish to the public so that other teachers could access it and search Bulb. If it's a great template, we always want to encourage that sharing. Or you can just create a private share link here. And then the most important thing at the bottom of this publish panel is save this as a template. This is what differentiates a normal page where people could just view or comment on a page to a page that allows others to copy it and into their own portfolio so then they can edit their own version. So once you click this save as a template here, now click publish. And this is a template that's ready for you to assign it to your students. So I can copy this private link and I can go into my learning management system and post this link. And because this is saved as a template, my students will be able to see this use template up here and be able to copy it. Now, something important to know about templates is that when you create that template, you can go and make edits to that template at any time and keep republishing. But as soon as a student or somebody else copies the template into their portfolio, it's like a one-time thing, right? So they have now copied it at whatever that template looked like at that moment in time, and now it's their version and they can edit it. But if you make changes to your template after they've already copied it, those changes will not be reflective on their copy. Their copy will only reflect whatever that template looked like at the moment that they copied it. So it's not, you know, like when you think about a Google Doc where you might have multiple contributors to the document and changes are made along the way and it's all one single document. I want you to imagine this page lives in your portfolio. You publish the template. When someone else copies it, they're just copying it exactly as it is at that point in time. Those changes, if you make any after that, will not be reflected in their version. They can recopy a new version if they need to, but it won't be reflected there. Okay, so we covered a bunch about templates, and hopefully that answered a lot of questions for you, and also hoped inspired you to think it's pretty easy to create a template, especially for projects and things that your students are already doing. It's a great way to kind of help them get going. Students can create templates as well. That's a great activity for them to do, and then maybe even share them with their project groups or share them with their class. And so I just want to wrap up our time together with a few tips. I kind of pointed a few of those out as we were looking at some of our examples. But just thinking about what are some ways that you can use templates. They're really popular for assignments, particular activities that you want your students to do, or maybe your students are doing a project and you create a template that says it needs these specific components. Another way to use templates are you're a coach and you have a bunch of resources that you want your teachers to be able to use, and you've created some assignments and some resources for them, and you want to make sure that they can have them in their own portfolio and maybe even manipulate them and use them in their own classroom. So that's kind of another great way to use templates. And then the last way is kind of an interesting way to use templates for project groups. Because both pages are not collaborative, where you can't have multiple authors to one page because each individual has their own portfolio. Say you have a project and each student is doing different parts of the project. Maybe each of them are creating a bold page. One's doing the research, one's doing the final presentation, one's doing the sources, whatever that looks like. But in the end, those students want that that entire project together, either to turn in and to make sure that they also have a copy of all the different components that the group worked on. And so a student or the multiple students can publish their pages as a template, and then the other students can copy them into their portfolio so that they can have a final copy of that group presentation for their own portfolios as well. And I always love to have students, when they're doing project work, if they have one project that they turn in, then have all the students copy that project in their portfolios and then do a personal reflection on that. So here's my group project, but then here's my reflection page on what was my contributing factor? What were my goals for this? What did I learn specifically? What do I want to do better next time? So that it really brings that personal contribution to that group project that's living in their portfolio. So a couple other tips. I always love to use the gray text, as I mentioned before, like that helper guidance text. I kind of try to keep a theme that if I put something in gray, that means when anyone's using that template, that's text that they probably need to delete. And then I'll use a lot of headers, either in blue or H2 or H3 headers to kind of do my different categories. I also love to create these little graphic section dividers. I showed a couple examples of those in the templates that we looked at. Canva is my kind of go-to place to create those graphics. Here's the size, the recommended size that I use for those section dividers, but you can do anything that you want in there and create some different images and dividers as well. Of course, and you can always use that H2 and H3 from that formatting toolbar to be able to do that just in text and not create an image for it as well. The other thing I like to do in my template is to really encourage students to think about how they're going to display their work and give them some ideas. So if I'm giving them some helper text in gray, I can say, hey, you might consider doing an audio response to this, or take a video of you doing the skill in action, or take pictures, like 3 pictures of the process, and then caption each one of those. And so just helping the students really think through their ideas can be more than just words on a page, and how are some different ways that they can think about responding and showing what they know. And then, as I've mentioned multiple times, I'm really passionate about the reflection side. So I always love to create a reflection prompt at the end of my template. And I showed you a bunch of reflection prompts as well that are all within our resource library. And so you could take that entire reflection page template, or even just take one question out of there that's been created as well. There's lots of great references to that. Okay, so we have, just a reminder, Resource Center is the best place to find hundreds and hundreds of different templates. We talked about the ICV template specifically for CTE. That's kind of our new thing that's just been happening recently. So I just wanted to mention that. If you have any questions about using templates, our YouTube channel is a great resource to help you answer any of your questions, or don't hesitate to reach out to us at help@bulbap.com. And we'd love to be able to work with you and help you figure out whatever you are trying to accomplish. So thanks so much. Take care.